Economists versus actual retirees when it comes to Social Security. Economists are going to take it on the chin every time, and I'm going to show you why. So I'm downstairs, I'm just in the middle of working out here in my little gym, and I just said, I want to do this video. So I got my whiteboard. I don't even have my computer or anything like that, but so there's this huge issue in the financial planning area lately with Derek Tharp's article that he posted on Kitsis.com that later got published in Wall Street Journal, which I asked Derek, said, how much you get paid for that? He just laughed. So I guess he didn't get paid anything, which is kind of funny. But hey, he got the publicity and notoriety of being in the Wall Street Journal. It's pretty cool. I was published in the Wall Street Journal many years ago as a letter to the editor, by the way. You can see your old buddy Josh, this letter to the editor in the Wall Street Journal. So there's a 1999 or something like that. So just FYI, your old buddy Josh has already been in the Wall Street Journal. Huh? That's how far back I go. Anyway, the point being here is, so Derek's article was basically saying, so here's some reasons you want to take Social Security early. And of course, all the academics and whatnot flip out, like, how dare you? How dare you? Don't you know? It's irrational, this whole thing about economists. It's irrational to take Social Security early. You should take it later because, and this is what we're going to get into here in just a second, my whiteboard. And anyway, so, I already talked about this, and we're still kind of debating this and all that. It's silly to me. The whole thing's dumb. But anyway, the point now is I saw a lady write in LinkedIn. She has a client. This is so stupid. I was like, come on. She has this client, Edna, who lives north of Scottsdale, Arizona. Edna is 82. She's a widow. Her husband, Larry, died and left Edna with his Social Security. But unfortunately, because he took his Social Security at 62 as opposed to waiting, Edna basically doesn't have a pot to pee in now. Now, she was going to hopefully do a reverse mortgage. She doesn't have enough equity in her home to do a reverse mortgage. All right. So she's basically chastising Derek and others saying, we need to do better, i.e., how dare we have this conversation that Larry should not have taken Social Security early. He should have taken it later. We should even allowed the argument to be made. We need to do, literally, she says, we need to do better. And when people tell me I need to do better, that drives up the wall. I hate it. It's such a freaking trope, whatever that is from the left. Like, it's just so freaking, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I'm elite, I'm superior. You're just some freaking redneck from Maine. You don't know nothing. I hate it. I hate this do better stuff. Two things I hate. I hate being told what to do. You need to do this. I hate that. It drives me crazy. And I hate when people say you need to do better. All right, I do. Anyway, so the point being, I'm just like, and then she had all these comments like, go, I don't know, Mitzi, go, you tell them, girl. And I was like, oh. And I just had a comment. I said, lady, using an anecdotal story does not validate or invalidate any argument. It's just anecdotal. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, I've got plenty of clients who died before they took Social Security. So we can say he died at 65. He didn't take Social Security. Thus, you should always take Social Security early. And if you deny that, we need to do better. It's an idiotic conversation to have. But no, they do it. And it's stupid because it's based on academics. And for some reason, financial planners are desperate to be perceived as academic. That's why I have this evidence-based financial planning stuff. Stupid. So what we're going to do, we're going to take retirees over here, economists over here. And we'll show you how stupid the economist arguments are. I'm not saying economists are stupid. This argument is stupid. We're going to take 1,000 retirees and we're going to take 1,000 economists, all right? We're going to line them up. We're going to ask the retiree. Well, let's start with the economists. We're going to say, economists, how many of you think we should delay taking Social Security? And there are 900 are going to say we should delay taking Social Security. And I'll say why. And they'll say because we have to use, not the opportunity cost, mind you, we have to use a comparative return relative to the delaying of Social Security. And given that Social Security is presumably risk-free and has a cost of living adjustment, we'd have to compare the rate of return, the real rate of return of a comparable investment to be apples to apples. Comparable investments are Treasury inflated protected securities, TIPS. And as such, we would say you can get 2% in TIPS, net of inflation, real return, and Social Security gives us a better rate of return than that, thus you should wait. That's what their argument would be. And 90% of economists will say that is right, and we should take Social Security later, simply because if we compare the risk-free investment with inflation adjustment, you're getting 2% here, and Social Security pays you more. Thus, in terms of the delaying, thus you should always defer taking Social Security. And I won't say they say always, but generally speaking, you should defer taking Social Security. 90% would certainly say that. And I don't know if 90 or 92 or 87.5, but a significant number. Now we line up 1,000 retirees, 1,000 retirees, and we ask them the same thing. 900 will say, no, you should take Social Security earlier. All right. Now, these are the people who say I should take Social Security earlier. Again, for me, I want to take Social Security later because I don't want to leave my wife like Edna. All right. I don't. But if you take 1,000 people, retirees, they're going to say, I would probably take Social Security earlier. I'd say 900 are going to say that. And I'd say, why? They say, because I don't look at tips as my opportunity cost. I look at the opportunity cost, we'll just say a 60-40 portfolio. So if I'm taking Social Security now, all right, that means I'm allowing my 60-40 portfolio to continue to accumulate at a real return of 6%, which is 300% above this, 3 times what I'm getting on tips. And no one's even going to talk about tips. No one's ever going to say, no one ever as a retiree is going to sit there and say, I should take Social Security early later. What's the rate of return on tips? That's what I'm compared to. No one ever does that. They do it based on this right here. What is my expected rate of return of my portfolio? And economists are going to say, well, that's not rational because this right here isn't guaranteed. It's not risk-free. It has volatility in terms of standard deviation. This is rational. And I'm sitting there thinking, all right, economists, if 1,000 people, 100,000, 1 million people, if 90% of those people said X, and then of 1,000, 90% of economists say Y, and the economists are going to say it's the 90% of the people who say X are not rational, I say, who's actually irrational here? Is it you or them? It's you. Because if we lined up 1,000 people, when it's their actual money at stake, not a theory, their actual money at stake, they're going to take Social Security earlier because they say this is my opportunity cost of taking Social Security today so I can allow my investments to grow more. On top of everything else that goes with it in terms of the cash flow, accumulation, whatnot. And yet the economists say, no, that's irrational. This is the problem with economics. Irrational is in the eyes of the beholder. And economists are so desperate to say, rational people should do X, Y, Z. I talked with this about with my daughter, Chloe, who's at University of Georgia in an econ program. It's just like the rational knowledge rational, what's the word I'm looking for? Idea of human beings. And the economists say, well, that's an irrational thing. I forgot what she and I were talking about the other day. I was like, this is so freaking stupid. Oh, it was Liam, actually, because in one of his he's in high school, one of his economics classes, they say, if we have a pure competitive market, that's what it was. Pure competitive market, i.e., every business is maximizing their profits. We wouldn't need any regulation or anything like that. I can't remember what it was. I remember this when I was microeconomics or something like that. I was like, this is dumb. There is no purely competitive economics market. There's not. I'm always going to strive to gain more than my peers. And so if I am trading at 10 and you're trading at 10, we're all happy. We're making profits at 1% each. I'm still going to try to get more of your 10. All right. That's what I'm going to do because that's what human beings do. We try to capture more if we can. All right. Some people say, no, I don't want to do that. So, okay. Either way, there is no such thing as a purely competitive market. There's no such thing as rationality when it comes to human behavior. Because irrational behavior, what these economists would say these guys are doing, this is not irrational to them. It's not at all. It might be irrational to economists, but the economists don't know what the hell they're talking about. Anyway, my point is, at the end of the day, when it comes to this kind of stuff, the academics just don't have the common sense that normal people have. They use these models and they say, my model says this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh my goodness, dude, your model is wrong. You're basing the premise on human beings acting rationally, but you're the one who gets to define what rationally is. These people are acting rationally. Because if you look at any 10-year time frame, any rolling 10-year time frame, by the way, in the modern capital markets, this right here on a 60-40 portfolio happens highly highly more often than what we get over here at 2%. Yes, sometimes you're going to get negative numbers here. Rarely. Over any 10-year time frame, the amount of time that you got negative numbers over 10 years in a 64 portfolio is so small, it would be irrational to take Social Security later when we think we're going to get a better net rate of return on a 60-40 portfolio than we would in Social Security. But economists can't get this. Anyway, just had to say that. All right, God bless. Falcons suck. Looks like Drake May has proven to be the greatest quarterback of all time in the Patriots' history. There's no other quarterback that comes close. Not even Steve Grogan, not even Jim Plunkett. There's no one else I'm missing from the 2000s to 2020. No other quarterback there. Not even Drew Bledsoe. Drake May is the Patriot GOAT. All right, God bless. We'll see you.